Good morning, sports fans. Welcome to the Cheap Seats on 96.3 FM, streaming live on the web at WLCNonline.com. Scott Kirby, Joe Ryan, Jake Johnston with you this morning in front of Joe Ryan Country Financial.
Country Financial, there it is.
Also known as the King of Hearts.
The King of Hearts. You know, I thought you guys were dressing up today.
We did.
It's downtown with the mayor, Halloween, and you guys dressed up like each other.
Mayor Marty.
You guys dressed up like each other. That's funny.
I'm Jake. That's Scott.
Good day.
And hey, at least Loin dressed up.
Loin's got his mask on.
And
much better.
Jim came as a pirate.
A wounded vet.
He's a pirate.
Arr.
Arr.
Yeah, we got what we got going on downtown here, Joe.
Today's trick or treat with the mayor, Mayor Marty Neitzel. They're starting over there sometime. I'm not sure exactly when. I thought it was around 9, but they're working their way down here and should be coming around to us later in the show. They may pop by here and we'll hand them some goodies. Maybe they can even talk on the radio. Tell us. I'm sure they'll sound much smarter than we do.
Since you're Country Financial, what kind of goodies would you be handing out?
Yes, some treats that are in the back.
It's kind of sad.
It looks like
kind of sad.
He's got mints.
It's kind of sad.
What is that?
Butterscotch. He's got some.
I'm going to tell you guys something.
In there.
I'm going to tell you guys
Almond Joys. I'm going for Almond Joys. I'm thinking Kit Kat, Snickers,
Baby Ruth.
Come on.
What are you guys own stock in dentistry?
Popcorn balls.
You know what? They don't need all that.
Or a butterscotch.
That's better for them
candy.
than this. You suck
By
on
the
that
time they
sweet
get
stuff,
to
it's
me,
horrible.
their bags will be so full that they don't need
this right
any
here is a
more candy in
lawsuit
there.
waiting to happen right
Yeah,
there.
like
That's a fireball.
Well, you know what? Maybe he better have that.
Yeah, no Snickers, no Milky Ways, just
Get a costume
you know,
on.
this is stuff that my grandma had in her cabinet back in the day.
Well, I'll tell you what, make fun if you'd like, but there's a lot of kids out there that would like some candy.
Fortunately, he has the Bass-O-Matic 5000 inside.
Yeah, that's good bass.
That's good bass. Terrific bass.
That's great bass. I just saw the commercial the other day for that. Had that cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Aykroyd.
Yep.
Can't
Get away with that nowadays.
No smoking allowed.
No.
Well, I'm the only guy that dressed up, so me and Loin.
Well, I didn't get the memo,
Loin and I.
Halloween's actually not till next Saturday.
But when you have trick-or-treaters coming.
You got Mayor Marty coming by.
We dropped the ball. Sorry, Joe.
It's all right. You have before. You got a scary face anyway. Just, hey, try not to look the kids in the eye and scare them, would you?
Well played.
Sir, please take your mask off. It's not a mask.
Just look to the sky, would you? Don't stare at the kids.
All right, let's talk some sports, fellas. All you Cub fans out there, it's over. It's all over.
Give us a call, Cub fans. At, what's our number? 737-3791. We'd like for all the Cub fans to call in, and they did have a good year.
And for all you Cardinal fans that decide to root for the Cubs, you have to resubmit your application to be a Cardinal fan. We are starting to take applications in 2 weeks.
You know what
I would be one of those people.
You know what I like? Just courtesy of social media. You know, after the Cubs beat the Cardinals, Cardinal fans were silent, gone. Well, right after the Cubs got swept by the Mets, guess who's back on social media?
They crept back out of those dark cracks and
Cardinal
crevices,
fans.
didn't they?
You know, all these memes or memes, whatever you call them, you know, now they're back out because, you know that's fine.
Well, you know, you have to admit, it's the rivalry's there, and getting swept adds to it. It brings them back out.
But if you're going to talk smack, let's talk smack, win or lose.
Oh, I'd rather eat a box of Sugar Smacks. I mean, look at me.
Yeah, that suit
do
does
love the
make
Sugar
you look
Smacks.
fat. So the Cubs are done. The Mets, a solid baseball team, great pitching, timely hitting.
Great young pitching.
Yeah, young pitching. They're going to be there for a while. Syndergaard, Grom, Matt Harvey, healthy again.
Kind of the opposite of what the Cubs are. You know, young pitching. The Cubs went after young hitting and getting all that talent around the field. And the Mets said, hey, you know what, we need to build this with pitching. They went after some good young pitching. You got that in the fold. They picked up some timely acquisitions, I guess is the best way to say. They got some good picks there at the trade deadline, and really, boy, after that happened, they've really rolled.
Daniel Murphy's playing out of his mind.
Yep,
this guy hasn't
happens every offseason almost. It seems like it happens every offseason.
He hasn't played like this in his career, and he's just seeing the ball, hitting the ball, and
looks like a grapefruit to this guy because he doesn't miss much. I mean, not in that series at least.
And some of those, hits, home runs he hit, they were good pitches. The one Arrieta threw him was a curveball down and in. He went down and golfed it out of here.
And I haven't seen him be arrogant and out of control or anything. It looks like he just does his job. And maybe I've missed some, but has he been?
Well, we kind of had this discussion off air before the show started, which that's when a lot of our intelligent talk happens.
I don't know why you guys talk about all that stuff and then get on here and you have nothing to say.
I was telling Jake that I'm looking at this Mets team trying to find somebody to hate, and there is nobody. They don't have. I'm wanting to hate somebody.
Why do you have to hate on people?
Because they just beat up on the Cubbies, and but there's really nobody there to hate, and they're a good, solid team. They're young. They're good, and what do you say?
Chest Trees Panthers.
Unfortunately, it's kind of the same thing with the Cubs. Being a Cardinal fan, there's not a lot of guys you can hate. There's not a Carlos Zambrano right now or a Sammy Sosa doing the pumping his fist or chest and all that, and
all juiced up, hitting home runs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, just
cork bat.
Cheating. Let's just go ahead and
you know what I'm saying? Or Mark Pryor, who I guess maybe Anthony Rizzo.
Why would you hate him? What's he done?
Just because how he talks in the preseason, he was going to win they were going to win the National League.
I can't tell what his face. He's got the same facial expression.
He's funny.
I can't tell.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a great mask.
It's not a great mask.
I don't think he can keep it on the whole time. He's got to be a hot mess.
He wore that to a Bears-Bucks game back when they were in Champaign. Was that the same season? It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Boy, they all like to make fun of that, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't understand why. It's hard on me if you guys keep making fun of that.
Well, we like being hard on you.
Kid.
9/11.
We've rolled right along. There we go.
We were slacking.
9/11. Got late.
So we got the Mets. Kansas City just clinched last night over the Toronto Blue Jays. It's going to be a great series. You guys have any favorites? What's your take on the? Both teams have good pitching. Probably Mets have a little better pitching, but Kansas City as a whole, all around, a better team. Hitting.
Yeah.
Going to win the whole thing, aren't they?
I like Kansas City in 5. I mean, you're right. They have a really good hitting team. Besides hitting a home run, they also get a lot of guys on base and do a lot of things on the base pass. They're quick. That's 2. And defensively, I mean, they don't let much get past them or get down on the ground. So, it'll be fun to watch. I like Kansas City a lot, and they've been there.
They've been there, and they lose to a Giants team last year. Kansas City, they
pretty much lost to one guy last year.
Yeah,
I mean, Madison Bumgarner
show
was Daniel Murphy last year. So.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen very often. So
there always is one. There's always a guy that's coming through.
Almost every year. Now, I'm not saying it's every year, but
when Reggie came through?
Well,
were you alive then?
No.
Probably remember Reggie Jackson. He was Michael Jackson's brother.
Yep.
Yeah.
Older brother.
Mr. October.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was he?
With Oakland when he played with Oakland.
Yeah. One of the Jackson 6.
No, but. You got to now compare him to you got to watch Babe Ruth a little bit.
You know what? He probably wrote that down and he's had that on his hand for 3 days. He was going to say that to me.
Actually, it just popped in my head. And
hey, you're getting better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're
getting savvy here.
Speeding things up a little bit.
Real quick, a question for the Cub fan here. Kyle Schwarber. He hits home runs, and after the game, his teammates talk about how he caught it or how he called it. Do you think he calls every time he goes up to bat, I'm going to hit one right there?
Well, I mean,
every at bat.
Your odds aren't as good if you do.
That's what I'm saying. But then his teammates only talk about the one. Well, he did call it.
Well, they had one in Pittsburgh, and they said, get a kayak because I'm going to hit it into the Allegheny.
Yep.
He did. And then he was in the outfield and said, I'm going to hit a homer off this guy. And it was it Harvey? No, it was
Paul Harvey?
Or the reliever. Anyway, he's like, I'm going to hit one out. Well, he hit one out. It was a bomb.
Listen to him talk over there. He's trying to say stuff.
He's trying to talk,
it's muffling
him.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, you think he wears that around home?
Yes.
Just sitting around?
That or Duke Blue Devil.
Will you guys watch this now intently? Will you watch this
the World Series? Yeah, I'll watch a little bit.
I'm saying, when you say a little bit, you're going to catch the last 2 innings most of the time?
I'll flip through. It depends. Yeah. I don't know. It depends.
Will you?
I'll watch at least the first couple games, and then
towards the end,
I'll still watch a little bit of it during, for the rest of it. But
yeah, I'm not bitter that the Cubs lost.
Unless it's a real game, then I'll keep watching.
My interest just
went out the window.
When the Cubs or the Cardinals are out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
Well, Jake, he's not a big Mets fan.
No, I hate
at all.
Yeah, so at least you have a team to root against.
Yes.
Yeah, I will be rooting against them.
Well, there you go. You got a KC fan.
And I hate rooting for the American League.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, you got a lot of hate in you. If there's a caller out there that thinks they can help Jake with his hate,
I feel like
give us a call at 737.
Kind of a baseball purist, I like to root for a division, or not really a division. I like to root for a team to start with, and then the league. Outside of that, I don't really like rooting for the American League, but again, with both these teams, it's hard to find guys that you don't like.
Got a caller.
We got a caller. Go ahead, caller. You there?
Hello.
Hello. Oh, that's a little.
Hello.
Hey, he's right in the building.
All right.
Hello.
Hello. You got us?
You got me?
You're on the phone.
You're ready.
You're on the radio. You're going coming in hot.
I'd like to make an apology.
Okay.
I am a Cubs fan, but I'm not apologizing for that. I miscalled the last touchdown play.
You miscalled the last touchdown play of the Railer game? Bobby V?
Sage Conrad, he hiked it to Andrew Yount. He pitched it to Titus Cannon, and he threw the touchdown pass to Garrett Isles. I completely blew it.
And what'd you say?
I said Sage Conrad, he hiked it to Garrett Isles. He pitched it to Titus Cannon, and Nathan Pudnight caught the touchdown pass.
Yeah, Bob, sometimes that's why later on in life they put you closer to the field. Yeah, that's the first mistake you've made in there, and maybe you need to sit closer to the field.
And I've got 67-year-old eyes now. It was over in the corner, but it's no excuse. I blew it.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're probably going to lay you off for a few months now, and we'll.
I can tell by the look in Jim's eyes the last time he handed me the equipment, he was about ready to fire me anyway.
Renegotiate that contract. Yeah, we're not. We've been discussing it among ourselves, so we'll.
I knew you had.
We'll let you know about that. The guy's been defending you as Schweitzer. Schweitzer makes you look good. You know what I mean?
He does. He's so articulate. His stats, and he has the stats for every Lincoln football game ever played. And yeah, I couldn't make it without him. And I find sponsors, of course.
Yes. Now, Bob, who are you rooting for in the World Series?
I'm just a sports person. I'll watch it when it gets down to crunch time, but I can't say whether I'm a Kansas City or a Mets fan. They're, like you guys said, the Mets, they deserved it. They won. Their pitching was fantastic.
Will you watch the series?
Yeah, I'll catch it on and off. When it comes down to the last game, I'll probably watch the whole game.
Yeah, if it goes to the last game, then that's exciting. Otherwise, I'll kind of hang around to see if that gets there. Go ahead.
But anyway, I feel bad for my missed call at Garrett Isles.
Oh, you're all right.
Maybe like an old rock and roll song, maybe Jim can recut the tape at the end.
We'll see if we can fix that, Jim. Right. Yeah, Jim probably not going to work on that too much.
I'll use it for next year's contract.
Tell you what, he's using a hands-on approach, and right now he's only got one, so we're going to get about 50% of that done. All right, Robert, thanks for your apologies. And like I say, when we renegotiate your contract, that'll be thought about.
Well, thank you, Joseph.
See you, Robert.
Bye.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I think part of his contract negotiations, he's going to have to pick pairs next year.
Somebody's going to have to.
A lot of times the pairs will just fall on the ground and you can grab them then. Be a safer way to get them.
I saw him at Big R the other day buying a chainsaw.
And
more pear trees.
Why don't you just sit out back in a chair and wait for him to fall and then grab one? Might get 3-4 a day.
Poor Jim.
Go shake him a little bit. Shake the tree. Shaking the tree, boss.
Shaking. All right, fellas. Hey, let's take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll talk some college football, some NFL. I'm still waiting for
Raylor's finished up.
Raylor's
throw
finished
that out
up.
there.
Yeah,
we'll talk about some
got,
Central State A
absolutely.
teams.
Might get some terrific bass calling in.
Yes. So stay tuned. You're in the Cheap Seats 96.3.
Hey!
No kidding.
I'm ready to fight.
I've been looking for my baby
all night.
Wow. Who is that?
Boom, boom. Come on. Out go the lights.
I have no idea.
It's the Great Pat Travers Band.
Who?
The Great Pat Travers Band. That's an old rhythm and
you know
blues
that?
boogie woogie number.
No.
Never.
Boom, boom.
I've heard
out
that.
Go the lights.
Never heard of him.
I've heard that, but
Pat Travers?
I didn't know it.
Never.
Man, I'll tell you what, you grew up in a shelter.
Oh, I grew up in the 80s.
You know, you act so young.
Grew up in Waynesville.
Well, I'm not young, but I don't know who that is.
The Pat Travers Band? Gosh, used to open for Ted Nugent, all the rockers.
Oh, okay.
He's a rocker, man. You're into that. You were into rap and flipping the record backwards and making weird noises.
Yeah,
and
and your hat.
Oh, man.
I still wear the hat. I don't like the hat.
Yeah, put that hat on backwards.
All right, let's talk some football, boys. The Lincoln Rail Splitters finished up their season Thursday night at Landfair. Joe, tell us a little bit about the game. Put up 20 points against the Landfair Lions. They went out fighting. You know, it's a team that you come into Landfair, you're 0-8. They could have gave up. But they didn't. They came out and they went down with a fight.
No, they played well. The seniors, you know what? It was enjoyable. I mean, you know, it's the little things in life, and they scored some points. They had, you know, Garrett threw a long touchdown pass there, and so they got on the board a few times. They ran a trick play. The defense at times looked good, but again, you know, speed hurt us. They're an option team, and you know, you make the wrong read on an option, and pretty soon the quarterback turns up and runs for 40 yards, and then you tackle the quarterback, and he pitches, and the tailback turns it up for 60 yards. And, you know, they just had a lot of speed on that Landfair team. It's a pretty good football team.
Let's talk about Garrett a little bit. You know, he's a senior, second year starting quarterback for varsity. You know, he doesn't match up to the other elite quarterbacks in the Central State 8, obviously, but that kid goes out and gives 100% every game, and I don't think he gets enough kudos for what he does. And you know, there's got to be a leader on that team, and coming in your senior year with a whole new offense, a whole new coach, a whole new game plan, 2 huddles. How does he?
Well, he picked it up well. You know, to his credit, you know, I always say he's my favorite stepson, but to his credit, you know, he did pick that up. He is a great athlete. You know, I mean, his parents are very athletic. He's a great athlete, and you know, it's like the old saying of, boy, gosh, I wish he was 6'2" or 6'4". You know, if he was that big, he is that type of quarterback. Just, you know, you have a hard time seeing over the lineman. He made a lot of moves, kept a lot of drives alive. You know, just with his legs and agility to get a first down or move us along somewhere. Had some, you know, learned to punt as the season progressed. He had some great punts that were buried on the sidelines, so some teams couldn't run back. But then again, sometimes those athletes grab the ball, and all of a sudden we were all going the wrong direction. And here he came against one-way traffic, and we had problems. But yeah, there's a lot of kids on that team that did, you know, credit the seniors. It's tough your senior year to have a new coach come in, and you have to learn everything all new again. And I thought they picked it up and did well. Sure, we'd all like to be. We were talking about the other night. You know, I've been out there I found a book cleaning the other day from 1990. Would have been the 1992 season, my second year of coaching, and was kind of looking through it. And you know, Chatham had Rourke. He was there. He's been the head coach. SHG had Leonard. You know, he was still there. It was some of those guys have been around a long time, and you know, you build that stability in the program, and the same like Coach Alexander does. You know, you have that stability in the program every year. You know what you're going to do, and that sure helps. We haven't had that in Lincoln. You know, 5 years is a long time. That's great to build on, but boy, you need that coach that sticks around a long time and has everything in mind, and everybody knows what's going on.
And I know that's one of the goals, even down the lower ages. You know, Lincoln youth football, trying to implement what that head coach at the high school, what he wants, what kind of things that he wants to run, stuff like that. Well, you know, when you go from one coach to the next, obviously every coach's philosophy is different. You know, technique, offensively, defensively, everything's different. So you start from scratch.
Some of the old Raider fans will remember Denny Derrick's when he was here, and I listened to him speak at a clinic last April, and he is 72, I mean, at least, and was just right on top of things, telling us all. He was famous for the double dive. That's all he ran, the double dive, and he was talking about when he was in Geneseo, and he said all the youth football programs ran the double dive, and he said a lot of times they would have a kid that played right guard in 5th grade, and he played right guard all the way through his senior year of high school, and all they did was run double dive, and they were perfectionists at it. They knew that the entire time, which is fascinating to me because, we scramble around every year trying to get kids here, get kids there, change an offense, change a defense.
Well, that's, we try to put in 40, 50, 60 plays where let's get 6 plays and run them right.
Yeah, you got to have that bread and butter thing that, this is what Lincoln's known for. When you're going to Chatham, you have to stop counter Trey. If you're not going to stop counter Trey, they're going to beat you up.
And when they're going to run counter Trey because they're running backs. They do that little sidestep, getting a set. They're out of pro formation. You got to be ready for the counter Trey. And, it's one of those plays that are deceiving, get defense going one way and come back the other. And that's what you got to do, especially
two big bullies are coming over there to kick you out.
Two big bullies are going to come in,
and
trap lead block, open up that hole. Well, when you're not big, when you're not fast, you got to sometimes run those misdirection plays, but they got to be.
And yes, you do. And everything you have to play with is confidence. You have to play with confidence that you know this is the direction you should go. These are the steps you should make. And you know what to look for. You have to play with confidence.
That comes into being in a program for a number of years because now you're not confident because maybe you don't know exactly the play or you're still working on it.
Yeah, you're just not real sure. You don't go as hard.
Right. So that's
speaking of the conference and those guys, I know Jacksonville upset Chatham last night. At Jacksonville, the first time they've
21 years.
21 years.
21 years.
21 years they've had their number, and I think Chatham still gets in, but it ran Jacksonville to 6-3 and Chatham to 5-4.
Well, they're both getting in.
They'll both get in, and I think unfortunately for Chatham, they're going to go 6A and have to play SHG.
Yep.
Opening round.
And that's the thing, going 5-4 versus going 6-3, it's going to put you at a lower
you're going to grab
seed.
a 7-2 maybe.
Yeah, you're going to grab one of those upper tier teams in SHG. And
I didn't go last night, but I listened to the Rochester SHG game.
Why didn't you go? Not enough room to roll around.
Yeah.
That's
boy. We haven't forgotten, have we?
Yeah. No, because last night I was picturing you at the game just rolling around, and you didn't even go
around like a tub, like a big wheel,
and you didn't even go.
I went over and I listened to it, and then what a game! And I thought,
what's he doing?
You always think SHG is going to beat him by 3 touchdowns is what I thought, but you never know. Rochester, Derek Leonard brings up some stuff, but they did beat them, and they beat them up front with that offensive line. So I think they
still Rochester threw up 34.
Yeah, that's the amazing part. They put up 34 on SHG.
I mean, that just
and SHG's heading to 6A and Rochester's heading to 4A. There's going to be 4A schools are going to have a tough time.
4A is going to have a rough run
here after 6.
Yeah,
you go from 6 to 4. It's not like going from lower to up. From 4A to 6A, you're going 6A to 4A. And, it's just going to make those 4A teams look small.
You see
slow.
Sam, I know you're familiar with Sam Sargent. He plays basketball too. But that little cat, and I say little cat because that kid's 5'11", 170 pounds. He had 311 yards rushing last night on 35 carries. Ooh. Just an all-out animal that kid is. And, so Griffin ran it up a little bit on them with the rushing. That's what they could do, so that's how they scored. But they have all the weapons. I mean, I look for Griffin to, play for another state championship, and I look for Rochester to play for one too.
Pairings come out today?
Yes, come out tonight.
So stay tuned for that. Be interesting to follow.
Yeah, so we're going to get – Eisenhower's going to get in, Jacksonville is going to get in, and Chatham will get in. And then, of course, Rochester
SHG. So that's half your conference right there.
Yep.
Yeah, and they'll do well. The problem, I want to give a shout out over there. He's not listening, I'm sure, but I talked to Jeb Odom last night at Taylorville, and that's it. They're having a special season, 9-0, and they got that last night. And he's a good dude and a great coach. And they, unfortunately for them, they're going to work their way and have to play Rochester because they're going to fall in 4A. And he, they're both going. He'll have to play him probably second or third round.
I say he might be able to go through the first couple rounds without
And he's got to fall right back into that Rochester game.
To get to Champaign, you're going to have to go.
He's going to have to get some more kids over there or get something to leave because you got to get rid of having to play Rochester in the playoffs.
Last year they run into Sacred Heart.
Yes, got bumped up to 5A and had to play.
That's SSG. You finally have a good year after you get out of Central State A. First year out, Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
Second year out.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully this year. I mean, that'd be good for them if they ran into.
Well, the 1 year
Rochester though this year because that means they made a few rounds.
Remember the year? I believe it will be 2 years ago and they were still in the Central State 8, but it's 2 or 3 years. It must be 3 years ago where they took the game away from Rochester and gave the win to SHG later on over some type of giving them a ring or something.
A ring, yeah.
However that happened, if that would have been done before that scheduling, Taylorville would have went a different direction and got to play like 2 games before they met Rochester. But because of that, they had to play them first round and get beaten. So, yeah, Jeb's had a tough time over there, but hats off to him. 9-0.
You go 9-0, and you're going to face an elite team. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
Here's my proposal. If IHSA is listening, let's take this.
I'm sure they are.
Let's take this into consideration. All the 0-9 teams in the state.
All of them.
Okay. Let's form a bracket for them.
How many teams do you think that is?
I agree. That's a great idea.
I mean, they're still getting to play, and one of the team's going to get a win.
And if you're 0-8, both teams, you go into that last game. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to lose.
Well, if you get one more win, if you get one more loss, then you get to play one more game.
You get to play one more game and play in a toilet bowl playoff, whatever you want to call it. More revenue for the state, and more excitement for the teams that don't win.
Now, I may not be exact with this date, but I'll tell you a little something that was kind of cool from my old hometown of West Frankfort, Illinois. They were like the West Frankfort, Illinois, and Benton, Illinois were like the last 2 teams in the state of Illinois to join the playoff system, which would have started like in 1977, 78, 76, something. Lloyd could tell me, but they had those 2 schools opted out of going to the playoffs because they practiced for 3 weeks against each other. Or they practiced for 3 weeks, and then every year on Thanksgiving, it was both. They were 6 miles apart, and it was both communities' homecoming. And 1 year they'd play in Benton, and 1 year they'd play in West Frankfort. And that they called it the Turkey Day game, and they just practiced for that one game, their last game of the season, and it was homecoming. It was awesome. We'd go back for it every year once I moved. They were the only 2 teams in the state of Illinois playing on Thanksgiving Day. It was fun. We should hook up with someone around here that wants to do that,
Yeah, let's do it.
Play a last game.
Williamsville.
Yeah. Where's the trick-or-treaters?
Let's go to commercial break. I don't see any trick-or-treaters. And
they were starting over here, and they were supposed to be walking around this way.
All I have to say is a good thing our listeners don't have smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
It'd be hard on our listeners.
Holy cow.
Well, if we get Mayor Neitzel over here, we're going to talk about this.
Wow. We might as well be doing this from the sewer plant. But let's take a commercial break. We come back. We'll finish up with some local sports, some NFL, and anything else you guys want to talk about. So stay tuned. You're in the Cheap Seats. Name that tune, Joseph.
I didn't hear. I missed. I just got the headset on.
Alice, that was Alice in
Chains.
Oh,
could you have named it?
Well, if I kept going, but that
you were born in the 80s,
Alice
weren't you?
Chains.
Weren't you born in the 80s?
Welcome back. Yeah, no. Welcome back to Cheap Seats, 96.3 FM, outside of Joe Ryan Country Financial. On the phone lines right now, we have Coach Bass. Good morning, Coach.
Jeans.
Morning.
How's it going this morning?
Not too bad. How about you guys?
We're doing good. Coach, finished up your season Thursday night at Lanphier. The kids came out fighting. You put 20 points up on the board. They could have came into this game and just kind of curled up and gave up, but they went out with the fight. So you got to be pretty proud about that.
Yeah, I thought we ended the season on a pretty positive note. They did come out and battle. We put up some first half points again, and I think we put up the most points we had in a couple of years, which was nice. It was a good send-off for the seniors. They had some very good moments on Thursday night, and overall it's a good thing for us to have just a little bit of positive momentum going into the off season. And get some positive feelings to motivate for the off season as well. So it's going to be a critical one for us.
Well, you got one season under your belt in the Central State 8. You got a banquet coming up for the team. What do you have planned in the next week or two?
Other than the banquet, not a lot. We've got a team meeting on Monday. I'll give them kind of a tentative calendar for the coming several months. Outline my expectations for them. It's going to be very critical that they're getting into the weight room. It's going to be very critical that they're getting into the open facilities and throwing around with each other, throwing some routes and getting better and just staying around with one another. We'll have several guys that are going to be doing wrestling. We got a few guys that are going to be doing basketball also. I think a couple of guys that are going to be swimming. So, those guys that are doing the other sports, we won't see them for a while, but those guys that aren't doing that are really trying to focus on just the weightlifting, we expect them to be there on a regular basis. So, between that and the banquet, there's not a whole lot coming up short term. I'm just trying to really start working towards 2016. I told them the other night and mentioned it a couple times during the week. 2016 starts with Monday's team meeting, so
right.
We'll give them a couple weeks off, and then we'll start weightlifting and aiming towards Springfield.
All right, good deal. Did you have a chance to watch any other football last night? Obviously playing all of our games on Friday, get a Friday night off. Did you go watch some other games just to kind of give you a future reference, or did you just kind of take the night off and relax?
My wife and I went back down to Herman. It was their first district playoff game, so we went down to watch those and got a chance to see those kids again. We were very close with that group. There were a bunch of great kids. We had most of them in class, and a lot of them were involved in our FCA program that we started down there. So it was good to go down and see them and visit with those coaches, and we got to see them with a nice win last night, moving on to the second round of districts in Missouri. So we ran down there real quick, and this morning I'm about to head out to our last JV game here at Lanphier and spend the day watching college football.
All right, well, nice. Well, Coach, I know the season obviously didn't go the way you wanted it, but it's a step in the right direction. Hopefully these younger kids are going to build off what these seniors have left them, and, they'll be a little more familiar with what type of offense and program you're going to run in the future. So, get these young kids in the weight room. I guess that's where it starts. Get them all big and strong. Not really blessed with a bunch of strong, big kids in Lincoln for some reason. I don't know why. It must be water, has some kind of stunt growth in it or what. But, but the kids, they will give you 100% and they will buy in. So good luck in the future, Coach, and we will talk to you down the road.
No, I'd appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. That's Coach Seth Bass with your Lincoln Rail Splitter football team.
And if you're out there driving around, sophomores play at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock at Memorial. Yeah, to wrap up their season.
Coach Jay Carnegie over there says he's going to put up, I think he says he's going to put up 40 today, so we'll see.
Put up 40. Well,
we'll see if he's going to put up 40 points. Kind of hold him to that in case you see him around town.
39, that'd be all right.
Ask him if he got 40 this weekend because you heard it on the radio.
Heard it right here.
Coach Harnicky.
Hey,
and just if you're not, NFL's coming up tomorrow.
NFL has been here for 6 weeks.
Yep. And Monday night, get off work early and get ready to go and settle in because the Ravens are out there playing America's team.
The Cowboys.
Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, Cardinals. The Bears.
Cardinals, Monday Night Football. You know what I mean? Take Tuesday off.
Tampa Bay? Who's Tampa Bay got, Lloyd? You don't even know.
Who's the Bears guy this week?
They're off.
Oh, they could pull a. They won't lose.
I'll tell you what. We might just beat the Storm.
Whoa, coming in hot.
Let's talk about that Bears game real quick.
Oh
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because the coaches lost that game for them. Time management lost that game for them. You're 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. You have the ball. You're up by 4. And you choose to run it 3 times instead of getting a first down and putting the game away. What are your thoughts, Joe Ryan?
Yeah, I don't know what's going through those guys' heads, and I would.
Do you think maybe they had more confidence in the running game than you do?
But see, that's what makes me mad the most is when you play a game not to lose instead of playing a game to win. You know, you put yourself in that position, you know, Jay Cutler's playing probably the best he's played in years. And put it in his hands. Get a first down and let's go home with a win.
You know, there are coaches, you know, like Aaron's, he wouldn't have done that. Aaron's he's after the jugular every time.
Right, and why not? Because then you get lucky enough to get the ball back with 30 seconds left, you go down, you kick a field goal, then you go into overtime, and then it just carries over. The lackadaisical, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, you had your chances to win that football game. You didn't move the ball in overtime. You know, yeah.
Raise it up. That's exactly what's got to happen.
And raise now for the end of the year.
And it was disappointing because the Bears had that game won, I thought. You know, turnovers were in their favor, but just time management and the way the last 2.5 minutes into overtime, how it was, and I'm just a little, you know, who am I? I'm not an NFL coach.
Well, you're kind of a big deal on this radio show.
Just yeah.
And I mean big
deal.
Big deal.
Big deal. But it kind of frustrated me.
Well, who are you going to blame? The offense coordinator or are you going to go head coach?
A little bit of both. I mean, obviously the head coach has the ultimate say.
So ultimately that head coach has got to step up. And
I mean, Matt Forte, that's not a bad option to go to. But, you know, when they've got 9-10 guys in the box and you're running, I don't know.
Which is crazy because like 3 weeks ago, we were thinking, the Bears are probably going to be perfect this season. By perfect, I mean they weren't going to win a game. And now we actually have some expectations of them actually winning games.
And you look at those first 3 games they played against outstanding football teams. Seattle, they're kind of on the down right now.
I don't know about that right now.
Well, they're not the Seattle of old. They're beatable.
They're a beatable team, but I think
their offensive line. I don't know if Russell Wilson's going to make.
I think by the end of the year, they may end up getting right back where they were last year.
They're a team that's getting better. I think.
Well, they better get that offensive line figured out, or they're not going to have a quarterback or running back to worry about, because that offensive line is.
Yeah, and you know, and teams figure you out. I mean, Russell's had his chance to sprint around and be a new guy and throw. I mean, look at when Kaepernick started all his mess.
Well,
wow, everybody was confused.
What they do?
And
they end up because they spread out their ends a little bit and contain him, keep him in the pocket. He's a different quarterback than
you make him stand around and throw the ball.
He ain't gonna do it because he's very he hears those footsteps.
Yeah, and he's not. Yeah, I say he's not a pocket passer, but. You don't need that all the time, but he, a lot of those, like Russell, he makes things happen out on the edge. You know, you get out, and now you got coverage, and the ball's coming from a different place. You know, he's got out of that pocket, so they can't
contain him, keep him in the pocket.
Can't stop a throwing lane. Yeah. So and some of those guys do. You know what? I'm always fascinated. You can hate on Tom Brady all you want, but man, when you watch Tom Brady, he just feels everything.
He doesn't panic.
Just step up in that pocket, toss a ball here, toss a ball there. He makes it look so easy.
Not many quarterbacks in the league are like that anymore. I mean,
there's not many.
Rogers
does it. Yeah,
Luck,
Drew Brees, Luck.
Yeah, they make
there's only a handful of them that are that elite.
Phillip Rivers, maybe.
Gosh, Phillip Rivers has. I tell you what,
like
him,
and he is. You look at his numbers.
He's year in, year out.
It's unbelievable.
He's really good, and he's had not great offensive lines either. I mean, he's made a lot of things happen.
So hats off to him because he has. I've never been a big Rivers fan, but I will tell you, he's hung around in the last 3 years. He has just been a stud.
Yeah,
and he is again. What do you throw for 500 in a loss?
Yeah.
You know, I heard. Let's see.
Can't even look at it.
I think this kid played.
You are correct, sir.
I'll take a picture of him, send it to him so he can tweet it out.
I put it on our Facebook.
Oh, did you?
Thing. Yeah.
Perfect.
You know,
I just want people to see what we have to deal with.
I was listening to Tremaine Lee. Would you know that name? I thought he played basketball from SHG. Tremaine Lee was a freshman last year.
Why?
I was listening to the Rochester game because I just thought this was a fascinating stat. I was listening to the Rochester game last night, and Sam said that Tremaine Lee, he's a sophomore running back that came in for a little bit and got a few carries, and he said that he scored 9 touchdowns against Rochester last year in a freshman game, and they lost. 9 touchdowns.
And you lost? Was
It was like, holy cow. He had 9 touchdowns in the game, and they got beat.
9 touchdowns.
That's what he said.
That's like almost a touchdown every possession.
Well, I'm sure he was on punt returns and kick returns and everything else. 9 touchdowns.
That's got to be. That's got to be a record.
I remember Kenny Burns scored 6 as a freshman against Lincoln one year in one day because we played
one quarter.
We played a Saturday night game against Griffin over there was the varsity, and he started the freshman game and scored 4 touchdowns, and then he moved over to the sophomore game and he got in it and scored another one, and then that night he was a kick returner for the Griffin varsity, and he took one all the way back. He scored 6 touchdowns in one day against Lincoln at all 3 levels.
If there's any listeners out there, 737-3791, can you confirm that Treats with the Mayor is today? And
Mayor
what time?
Marty.
I'll tell you what, if so.
What time does it start? Because we have a box of candy here.
And Joe dressed up.
I'm telling you, they stopped
Like
by
the
my
King of
office
Hearts.
and told me it was today. And I said, yeah, we'll have the radio show here and we'll hand out some candy. And, I don't know. I'm staying all day, though. I'm telling you that. They're going to be here.
I hope so. I wouldn't take that uniform off there, that costume.
Hey, real quick, guys. Joel Vinson this year's on the Railer Nation website or Facebook page has kept us up to date on all the scoring updates and everything on the Railer games, and I just want to say I appreciate that. It's been great, not being able to be at some of the games and whatnot, and being able to get updates all through the game, which is pretty awesome.
Unless you don't have service and you have to get it from us, which we get from Joel, so then it just becomes a cluster.
Right. It's tripping over tripping.
And all I have to say is thank God I have unlimited texting, or I would be broke. Between the cameraman and the furniture man.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, you guys aren't afraid to send some texts.
These guys.
Yeah, we try to stir the pot.
It does.
I call it free time.
Group messaging.
A lot of free time between these two guys.
Yeah.
Man?
Yeah, I do. Exactly. I know exactly what you mean. I don't know.
Should have gotten the furniture industry.
Yeah. Or we don't even know what he does.
You sit on a couch and people come to you.
Yes.
That's not
and then
exactly
you sell them
true.
that couch.
Yeah.
It's not exactly true, but we try.
Yeah.
You have to have the bargains available, the right prices, the right styles. I mean, it's not an easy game.
Oh, it's not easy. We can tell by the stress that you go through.
Well, you're going to be able to tell us a little bit about that next week because we're back at your place next Saturday.
Raising L at Jake's Furnishings.
Raising L at 1100 Woodlawn Road. We will bring our box of candy for any trick-or-treaters that want to swing by.
Jake's Furnishings, man.
I'm telling you,
we may be raising some owl
there are
next
trick-or-treaters
week.
over there somewhere. There are trick-or-treaters over there somewhere. They probably got all hooked in down at Abe's and they can't get out of there.
Next week, are we raising Al next week?
Yes, at your place.
Is he coming?
Let's give something away.
I'll give something away.
Let's do some.
Let's
kind
give
of
a couch away or something. You know what?
All right,
to a host.
Next week to
a host.
Let's see, how can we do it? We could do a multiple choice or multiple answer contest where you have to answer multiple questions.
How about we
to win something? We'll come up with something, and if you want it to be kind of a grander prize, we'll go after that. But it's not. The questions aren't going to be easy.
Then you better think of them.
All right.
Because we can go with a B, and C tier.
All right.
The A tier will be, let's say, a recliner.
Something out of that box.
Let's say a recliner. The B will be a step below that, maybe like a rug or something, and the C will be something out of that box.
This box? I don't want anything out of that box.
Oh, you rummaged around through there and let your Tootsie roll.
I found one Tootsie Roll in this box. Where the rest of them
you ate it too, didn't you?
Yeah, and it was like a brick.
After you had 6 donuts
and
in there and 4 muffins.
I got to get a filling because it ripped a filling out.
Jeez, I'll tell you what.
Well, Joe,
it's hard on a host
There's a lot of good kids out there
when you
that
have
are
a
wanting some
fine
candy.
establishment like this,
Maybe they want candy.
you would think you'd have some Snickers or something.
I think these kids here in the car want candy.
They're shutting us down. Can you hear the music playing? Get your award and get off the stage.
Jim needs some pain medicine after this show.
It's just over with.
He's one-handed Jim.
We got to get ready for the kids. They're going to be here soon.
They are lining up.
Mayor Marty's looking at you like, what in the world?
Joe.
You brought that sewer thing up. Now the kids aren't coming by.
Is that what it is?
Because it stinks.
Where are they?
Hey, we'll be at your place next week, Jake. So tune in, and we'll have all kinds of goodies to give away.
Yeah.
And muffins. So stay, come back next week. You've been in the Cheap Seats on 96.3 FM.
Good day.